Alright, so today we're going to be stringing up the ECD DNA 2.0. We're going to start on our second hole of the plastic sidewall. Go through here. Okay, then going through the front of the mesh on our 9-diamond row. We're going to loop back and just knot it up here. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to go one more time through. Over the top, through this second hole in the plastic, back through. Okay. We are going to start by going through the back of the first top string hole without going through any more holes in mesh. Okay, now we're going to come through the front, but just the first layer. See how it's folded over here? We're going to come through the front and then the top. Right, so there's two pieces, it's folded. We're coming through the front of the third diamond and then looping out the top. I'm going to follow this pattern the whole way down the top of that. Right, skip a diamond or skip a hole on the top string. Then through the front of the fifth hole, front of the top. Okay, now back through again, this time through the seventh diamond. We go through the front and the top. Making our way to the last top string hole. Okay, now for this one, we're going to go in through the top, right, of the ninth diamond. We're going to go through the top of it, back through the front. Okay, so it's going to look like this. And then we're going to go in to the third hole on the sidewall plastic. Okay. Keep some tension, but top string's going to tighten itself out as we go along. So the next step, we're going to come through the top of the ninth diamond here and just knot it up. Loop it through to this third sidewall. And pull it tight. General rule for the tightness of this top string. Is going to be pull it tight-ish all the way through. Like you kind of want it to hug the plastic, but it doesn't need to be screaming. You know, there can be a little bit of leeway. So we're still have only worked with the third sidewall hole here. Okay, so we've pulled that loop tight. Now we're going to take our top string and we're going to go. So now that we have this knotted up, we're going to come in through the second sidewall hole. Right, so we're going from the third into the second. And then up through the front of that ninth diamond hole. Pull tight. Okay, so that's the shape we're going to have. Pause as needed. We're gonna take this, we're gonna go in through the same set of diamonds, just going over the top of the strings that we've already put through. So now we're gonna go in through the front, top of the front like we've been doing. We're gonna start to get this triangle shape. That's gonna even out. Second hole, front here. Okay. We just work our way back to the stick. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing we did on this side and come in through the front, or through the top, sorry, of this diamond. And then down through the face of it. So you can see that. Now we're gonna go into the third sidewall hole. And we're just gonna make one more loop. Knotting it off right here. Okay. I can stretch the top string out a little bit. That's what our top string is going to look like. All right, now we're going to go into our sidewall. So we're going to start by going in through the fourth hole in the sidewall and looping that first 10 diamond row down. We're then going to go in through the front of the following 10 diamond row, and then the inside 3 rows, 3 sidewall holes down, count through, and go in the inside of the third. Okay, we're going to wrap this around and go back through the sidewall hole above it, which is going to be your 6th sidewall hole from the top of the plastic down. Right. Keeping tension throughout the stick. And then back in through that 10 diamond row. Again. We're just gonna pull the mesh down. Okay, so then we're going to do the same thing. Go in through the front of the following 10 diamond row. Then in through now this open sidewall hole right here. Right. Go in through the inside of that. Back through the outside of the sidewall hole above that. And then through the 10 diamond row that follows. Pulling everything tight. one more time. We're going to go in through the top of the next 10 diamond row. We're going to count down 3 sidewall holes. So 3 open sidewall holes. 1, 2, 3. We go in through that, back through, and through the top of the next, that original sidewall hole. That original diamond, I should say. Then we're going to do a knotted SI on this same hole that we just came in through. Okay, so pull everything tight. Keep the tension, and then we're going to go in through the outside, and then over the top, back down through this loop here. Right? You can pull it out from the bottom so it tightens. Then you pull the string through. Right, so that's going to establish what our channel is going to look like. Okay, so then we're going to do our next 1, 2, 3. Do 3 ones in a row, so through the inside of the next 10 diamond row. And then we're going to do a knotted SI on the following plastic hole. In through the next 10 diamond row. Down through the next plastic hole. Right, it's all the same knot. Getting a little bit of a rhythm. Okay, now one more time. Through the next 10 diamond row. And then knot it out. The knotted SI here. Okay. So next we're going to do another one, but we're going to skip a sidewall hole. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th up from the top at this point. Knot it out. Knotted SI here. Okay. Now we're going to go in the next 10 diamond row and go back in and through the following 10 diamond row. Okay, and then we're gonna finish off our string on the second from bottom sidewall hole here. We're gonna go in through the inside of it. All right, pull that through, and then we can knot it off on this 9 diamond row that kind of hangs here. Right. We can go in through the top of that. And here we go. Looping that last 10 diamond or 9 diamond set through. Okay, now we're going to tie off here. And there's our sidewall. Okay, now I'm going to string up the other side. Following the same principles, right? Starting fourth sidewall down, and we'll get it strung up. All right, now we have our top string and sidewalls done. So we're gonna give the shape of the pocket. With our trusty Finish Line baseball bat. All right, starting off the bottom string, we're gonna go in through the second from the left, then back out through the furthest left. Okay, now we're gonna go in from the front of the 9-diamond loop that we knotted off at the end of our sidewall string, back through the 5th diamond, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then back through from outside to inside of that second bottom hole string from the left. This guy's gonna be tough to pull through. Okay, now once we're in, we're gonna go over to the second bottom hole string from the right and just go through there. It's gonna look like this. Right. We can kind of pull tighter, looser as needed. So here we're gonna go back from inside out on that same 5th diamond, and then out to in from that second diamond. And then we're gonna finish by going through the front, through the back side of the last diamond or last bottom hole, in through the second bottom hole, and then we're gonna tie it off. Okay, now to put the shooter strings on. Gonna have this shooter string lining the 5th diamond down. Okay. So we're just gonna go, sometimes you can go through the plastic, but this particular pattern I don't. Okay, and then for the nylon string, we're going to just go one set of diamonds up from this. And then we're going to cut it through. There's your finished DNA 2.0.